So good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. So let's just give you like a quick reference of what this mediation is about. So mediation is a confidential forum for you to talk about, your difficulties, and address the brokenness in your relationship that you guys have. It is a dialogue in which neutral mediators, my partner and I, facilitate a communication exchange in order to reach a mutual acceptable agreement between you two, if possible. As mediators, we do not psychoanalyze you, nor do we tell you, how to solve your problem. Rather, we are here to provide structure for the session or sessions if there is other ones later on. We're also here to, ask questions, listen, and facilitate like some fresh thinking about what's going on. Would you have anything else to add on?
If at any time you feel uncomfortable or you need to speak to any of us individually, we're happy to do so. We're trying to facilitate communication here. We want to make sure that you are fully comfortable with where you are. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable. If you need to go to the bathroom, let us know. Get a drink of water, whatever, just let us know and we'll deal with it from there.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and start by...
Just add on, sorry, just a quick, a few ground rules, just like a heads up. First, please, each individual will receive like uninterrupted talking between whichever question we may have for you, or for you guys have to speak. If you guys have any questions or comments while we're talking to another party, please just jot them down if you're provided. Please, there's gonna be taking turns for both of you. And also, we ask you to please listen carefully to each other while you speak. I believe that's it.
So we're going to go ahead and start with Ms. Hanson.
Yes.
All right. We're going to go ahead and see what is your side of the story in terms of what happened.
Well, I received a letter from another member of the Homeowners Association stating that I was violating one of the rules put in place by the pool usage. This rule states that no guests can be unaccompanied alone without another homeowner association member. But I feel that this rule doesn't clarify what issue they have. Because my husband and I have a Croatian student living with us. He's been living with us for 2 years while he goes to community college. I feel that he is a member of our household and that he should be able to use the pool as he likes because he's a member of our household. Also, my daughter is a member of the Homeowners Association. Well, kind of. She works for the association as a youth swim teacher. And she uses the pool at her leisure because she works with the pool. So, and in this letter, it was stated that we weren't following these rules correctly, that our Croatian student should be accompanied by a member of the household, but we consider him to be a member of the household, and that my daughter should be accompanied by a member of the household, which I kind of understand. She's not a member of our household, but she's the swim teacher, so I don't think that really pertains to me. Because, she doesn't live here, and she's the swim teacher. So, and in this letter, it was filled with really mean things, some nasty words, and I don't think it was appropriate, and it was really rude, and that's why I'm here today.
What exactly did the letter say?
It just said that we weren't using the pool correctly, that the guidelines given by the Homeowners Association were violated by them being unaccompanied without a member of the household, and just some really rude words towards our Croatian student living with us, and some very not nice things about my daughter.
So what does the rule say for the pool exactly?
I believe it states, I have it right here. Guests must be accompanied by an association member who is at least 12 years old or in the 7th grade.
Okay. What
Go
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, quick question, for you, Ms. Hanson. So, what is the conflict doing to you, overall?
It's mostly just upset not my day-to-day life routine, but it's upset our student because he feels that he's being targeted because of his race, that he can't use the pool without an accompaniment of a member of the household. But he feels like a member of the household, and we consider him to be. I think it just mostly just upsets us that he doesn't feel welcome, and that he doesn't feel a part of our family, which he is.
So you feel like the community isn't being welcoming to the student?
Yes.
And what is it he's studying?
He's studying communication studies at the community college.
Okay. Anything to add?
Yes, actually. So you did reference a little bit, to how you feel. Is there any? Sorry, excuse me. So how does the student, feel about? How does he feel about? Is it he, right? He or she? He. Yeah. How does he feel about, maybe, the harassment aspect of behavior? Really pushing, I guess. This is what I'm getting to. Pushing against, I guess, how can you put it? Maybe not embarrassment, but like, I guess, racial profiling.
Sort of like being ostracized.
Yeah, I think he definitely feels that because he is the only Croatian person living in the homeowners community, and he just feels that, it's been 2 years. He feels like a member of the household of the family, and that it's really not fair for him to be called out for using the pool when other homeowners association household members use the pool have their guests use the pool without supervision. So he really feels that he's targeted just because he is Croatian.
What exactly constitutes a someone living in the household? Do they have to be on a lease? Do they have to be signed in, or is it just who's living with you at the time?
Yeah, I believe so. The association says that the membership goes by household, and he is a member of a household. We put him on our taxes and things like that. He's not on the lease, as he's still just a student. He just turned 18. So I would consider that to be a member of a household. I don't know if we need rental agreement or anything. If he has to be on some sort of document to be officially a member of the household. But again, other households do let their guests use this pool unattended. So I don't understand. I mean, do they have to have a rental agreement for them to use the pool with unattended? It's just, I feel like because he's Croatian, that's the reason why they wrote this letter.
I wanted to know if so. This is basically you're to summarize that again. You feel that it's a racially motivated move, and how is the other person your neighbor? Is she your neighbor?
Someone in the association as well.
Someone in the association.
Yeah,
in general.
a member.
So, what do you feel is something that we can look at in terms of in the rules and regulations that says that would be okay for that to for him to swim there? Do you feel that what exactly is the biggest issue that you see here for our homeowners association? She said.
Well, I feel it doesn't clarify even in the guidebook at all. The association rules or whatever. It doesn't clarify what constitutes as a household member. Does he have to be on some type of lease or rental agreement, or some type of tenant situation since he's living there with us while he's going to school? It's not a permanent thing. But I mean, there's no clarification of what constitutes as a household member, and to be accompanied by somebody all the time. At his age, he's not going to drown. He's been here for long enough that he's not going to like steal anything or vandalize or break into people's home. You know, he's, I believe, a part of our community and a part of my family. So getting this letter was like a big slap in the face to us that says that no, he's not a part of our household. We can't use anything. That's not fair and that's not nice.
I know that the homeowners association basically said to come here, right, to mediation. What was their initial reaction to this?
I really felt that they just thought it was something that could be handled in mediation. I'm not sure if they felt like we were going to like press charges or anything, but
That's the thing I was looking at, because essentially it's their rules. Did they say, was there anything said about the rules? What did they say about the rules?
I believe that they felt that I was violating the rules by letting him and my daughter swim. But again, my daughter is a completely, I believe, separate aspect of this situation because she no longer lives in the house and she is employed by the association to teach the swim class. So, I mean, if they have an issue with her using the pool, that's an issue they're going to have to take up with her, not with me. But since that our Croatian student is living with us, that they felt that they could talk to us about him violating some possible rules by using the pool. But I felt like that should have been addressed when he first started using the pool alone 2 years ago, not 2 years later because somebody complained because they're racially motivated by the situation.
Yeah, just a quick reference. Has there been anything, closely similar to this conflict? Not to put it as in terms as a conflict, but anything similar to this that you heard from your neighbors, maybe you can relate to, or the possibility that it can bring up maybe some type of support for you or your other neighbor?
I have not heard of anything. I'm not sure why you're. Could you restate that? I'm sorry.
What sort of issues have occurred otherwise in the community, in the homeless association community, if any, with you or anyone else?
I have not heard of any. I am a member of the association, but I don't really keep up with what's going on. I'm not sure if there was any incidents prior with the other member or with any other members. So far, I believe it's been pretty quiet in our community.
So, did you want to move on?
No, just my last question. So, just a quick reflection. You're having problems with, your neighbor because you brought over a student that wants to study in the States, and between, it's livable from in your household. You said he's been here for 2 years, correct? And then, there's just problem with that. So, could you give this conflict a label? If possible, in house or why?
A label? I guess I would label it as maybe targeting. I feel like we're being targeted because we have Croatian students live with us. Because I'm assuming it's because we don't have like the typical normal family right now. My children have left and gone to school, or my daughter's working as a swim coach there at the pool. But I feel like it's because we have this Croatian student that they're targeting us because we're not the conventional family, and that it's something they don't like to see, that this is unheard of to them.
I don't think the anagrams for that one. I think we're pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on. Can you state your name for me?
Yeah, my name is Milankovic. I got to live much.
Thank you, Ms. Milankovic, for coming in.
Thank you guys for having us today. So this all starts with Miss Hanson here thinking she's above the rules of the homeowners association. She feels like she can just bend the rules whenever she wants, and the rules are clearly stated. And that's where my biggest problem is if one person has to follow the rules, then everyone in the community has to follow the rules. So let me backtrack. She has this Croatian student living with her. He's 18 years old. And I believe it's been 2 years now that that fellow has been here. And he decides to swim in our pool. There have been times where one of them accompanies him to the pool, but more frequently there have been times where he goes by himself. And the rules clearly state that if a guest is coming into the pool, a homeowner, someone in the homeowners association needs to accompany the guest, even if it's like one of your children from the 7th grade, but that they're within your home or fall under that umbrella. And so that's my biggest thing, is that there's other people that their kids come home for the summer and they use the pool, but they have the mom or dad there, or whoever's under the homeowners association member. They're with them, and Mrs. Hanson believes that she doesn't have to do that. If we all decided on these rules, we all signed off on them, then we should all be following them the same way. Another thing is that Ms. Hanson actually, we're having a little bit of trouble with the management of the homeowner association. She is just not doing her job, the manager that runs our area, but it's because Ms. Hanson trained her. And so Ms. Hanson feels like she has this privilege, because they're friends, or I don't know what it is, that she can bend the rules for her, or they can, she can bend the rules, and there's not going to be any repercussions towards her. I just feel like if you're not going to be there with him, then she should buy him a membership. That's the only way where this is okay. You're either going to be there with him every time he uses the pool, or you're going to purchase a membership for him to be there by himself. This is not about drowning or anything like that. It's about the rules. The rules are clearly stated. We all agreed to them, and you're choosing not to follow them. So I went ahead and I wrote a letter to her explaining all that, saying clear rules are written out, and if you obviously don't want to follow them, there's something wrong, and we need to address this issue.
Did anyone respond to that?
No, they did not respond to my letter. Well, they told us that we needed to come to mediation.
So you're feeling like you haven't really been listened to in
Right.
terms of your what you've seen.
Right. It's just really frustrating that there's rules and people just decided not to follow them.
So I see that one of your main concerns is to really follow the rules set by the homeowners association. Is there another concern other than just the rules? Maybe is the student maybe causing trouble or anything related to that?
I can't tell you about that kid. Like, I don't associate myself with him. I just want the rules to be followed.
What are the problems in terms of the rules, if any? Have occurred?
For the most part, everyone follows the rules. This is just the one case where they won't stop. It just does not stop. She's just choosing to totally ignore them, and it's just ridiculous.
How often have you seen
He
him?
goes frequently, a couple times a week.
What do you said there's a membership. What does this membership constitute?
You would just, yes, I don't know the exact details, but like we all purchase memberships, he would just be added on to hers or have his own membership to the homeowners association.
Okay. Ms. Hanson had said that basically he's a part of the household. What to you constitutes being part of the household? You said the membership, is that part of that?
Well, he's not paying rent that I know of. He's visiting, and that's not part of a household. If he's a visitor, he's a guest.
So he's been there for 2 years. I know he most, well, from what I see, I believe he most recently turned 18. So one of my main concerns is, after 2 years, why is it being brought up now?
It has always been an issue that this kid thinks that he doesn't have to follow rules, and she lets it be okay. She accepts it. It's just madness. I don't get it. I don't understand. Everyone else follows rules, except for her and her family and that kid.
What other issues have you had with Ms. Hanson?
I haven't, to say the truth, I haven't had a whole lot of interactions with her. From what I know, everything's been fine, but it's ever since that kid came and he just chooses not to follow rules in the pool, it's just really bugs me.
So you feel like, as I mentioned before, you need someone to listen to your needs, essentially, and you want to follow the rules.
Yes.
Where do you live in association, in relation to where Ms. Hanson lives?
I live 4 doors down.
4 doors down, okay.
May you describe a time where you use, the facilities provided by your association, or how often you use these facilities?
To tell you the truth, I don't swim that often. It might be like once every 3 months.
And have you,
But the pool does face our apartment
okay.
complex, so it's right in front of us. So that's where I see it, and I go out and play, sit in my lawn chair in front of my house, and I can see that kid there by himself, and she's not with him.
What, if any, sort of issues has he caused around the pool? Have you littered, or is there anything that you've done with the pool that constitutes something dangerous or something that affects the community other than through money?
No, it's just he doesn't follow rules. It's a rule. I don't understand how hard it is. He hasn't done anything. Follow the rules. The rules are there. Follow them.
So, from understanding, as you mentioned, rules are a very important part of the structure of the homeowners association. And so, is there, what
So I see that, of course your concern is to follow the rules, which is a high rule, especially when it's already set in your association. But what is this conflict doing to you, or how does it affect you personally?
It just, right now, yeah, it could be something small, but if you don't stop something in its tracks, it could snowball into her breaking other rules that could be bigger, So I want to make sure that I want to catch this early. If she's already not following this one simple rule, what is she going to do later on,
And you had mentioned the person that is in charge of management is the person that you train.
Yes.
What do you know about her management manager?
You guys good over here?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What do you know as in about her as a manager?
She is not doing her job. She obviously wasn't well trained because there's a lot of holes in the system now. And I think it's because they buddied with Miss Hanson and they just feel like they're running the world.
How did she become manager? This is one thing I'm going to clear on. Was it
I wouldn't be. I think Ms. Hanson would have better picture of that. I don't know.
You
I
don't
just know
mind?
that she was training her.
If you don't mind, would you mind if I ask?
Go ahead.
So, what exactly, in terms of manager, how did she come along?
She was voted in.
Voted it, okay. Is this by the Homeowners Association
Yes.
board?
Yes, she was a member of the association, and then we voted.
I want to say I wasn't at that meeting.
We nominated those who we felt that were most qualified for the position, and then we held another meeting the following week with like a voting of who would take the position, and she was voted in by the homeowners association.
And did anyone else, was there anyone that expressed concern about the vote?
No, everyone else was there. I wasn't there. I never had a problem with her, but now that I see that they've been hanging out a lot and they're friends, that is just favoritism.
Okay.
I would have to ask, is it okay if I have a drink of water?
Yeah, go right ahead, it's fine.
Let's
Let's go ahead and actually do a break right now. That would be a
Yes,
great
thank
idea.
you.
Let's go ahead and just regroup ourselves a little bit.
I think you have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Did you stop it? That's really good.
Alright, that's fine, it's fine.
Thank you for that break.
No problem. Trying to make everyone feel comfortable here right now. We're just all trying to get an understanding of each other and see where we can take this. So, I was thinking, maybe we can go ahead and do a little one-on-ones here to get a little more ideas of exactly how each of us are. I mean, unless we want to go through a little bit more. Not entirely sure. How do you feel about that?
I would still like to ask Miss Milan.
Mhm.
Sorry if I
Oh, you're fine. Milankovich.
Milankovich. Just a couple more questions. Concerns about what it is that you have, in mind.
Please.
So let's, get back into it, and hope you guys had a nice little break. So, of course, we just talked about, the management position, how the person got voted in, and what it is. I did reference from you that there was, I guess, like a selective thing going on. So I believe it wasn't the majority vote, and sometimes that doesn't, come out as other people want it. But with that, have you tried to, maybe talk to the manager, try to get to know them, see where they stand within the home association, and always ask, if it's possible for them to come back together, maybe rearrange some rules or set, set, I guess, a standard that should be followed by everyone, and then just see, how, where do students, children, and stuff like that are, I guess, put into position within those rules or laws.
Well, it's clearly stated. There are rules. We've all agreed to them, like I said before, and it clearly states any guest. He's a guest, so he needs to follow the rules. The rules are already there. They just need to be enforced now, and that's why we're here because those rules need to be enforced.
And do you know what the penalty is for somebody doing that for
I think there's a fine.
fine? And has that been enforced? I'm assuming
No.
it's the manager.
And I keep back to your question. I call the manager and I tell her this is what's happening. She just blows me off. She doesn't pick up my phone calls. She doesn't answer my emails. But it's because she's friends with her. So she's not going to go against her friend. And she's just going to let it slide. And that's what really frustrates me. If we all agree to the rules, let's all follow them, As simple as that.
So I believe, the whole reason why you guys are here is because, your concerns and her concerns, maybe a little bit that management stuff is maybe here, but I believe it's one of the big conflicts. Is if there was, I guess, the title or like we could put this conflict, what would it be and why?
Just rule following. Just simple. The rules, follow them.
Well, when I'm seeing this, you haven't really been listened to that much by the people in the homeowners association, and that's what you've been hoping to fix a little bit because it's hard to ask people to follow the rules when you're not really getting a response on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you say to the manager to sort of fix this issue? I mean, obviously, make sure to enforce. What would you say to enforce it? Just to maybe give a fine or?
Well, the rules are there. I've told her she needs to get fined if she hasn't, she doesn't follow the rules. She needs to be fined. That's what it states in the book. And she's not being fined, obviously. It keeps going on. It's the manager and her. It's just more her. She's a member. She's friends with the manager. She, quote unquote, trained her. She should know the rules. She knows that she needs to be following them.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe if you would like, if you guys can maybe speak to each other, just, respectfully, of course, and just listen to the needs and concerns of each other and just see if anything can come out of that. If that's
I actually forgot to ask. Have you two tried talking to each other? What if you tried to? Is there anything? Did you message or did you go over to her place and ask?
I just sent that letter
Just a letter to the manager. Or to her.
to her.
Okay. So maybe we can try doing that here because it looks like you want to be listened to, and that's very important. It's important for us to all have someone who can listen to us, and so let's all try to see what we can accomplish here. All right. Let's start with Rich.
I just would like to know why you feel you're above the rules and you don't have to follow them.
I don't feel that I'm above the rules. I believe that the rules are intentionally vague. There is nothing stating where a guest does, when a guest becomes a member of the household, yes, he does not pay rent, but he also mows our lawn, he takes out the trash, he pulls weeds, he washes our cars, he pays rent in that way. He does not have a job right now. He's going to school full time. So I don't know when a guest becomes a member of the household. There's nothing written that constitutes that. So I feel that you saying this is just targeting. You said over and over again you don't want to see that kid, that kid. What are you trying to say? That you don't want that Croatian boy swimming in your pool?
It's
You mentioned before you feel like it's racially motivated. How do you feel about that? Do you disagree with that? Do you have anything to say about it?
He can be whoever he wants to be. That he's Croatian, good for you. I don't care. I call him that kid because I choose to, and I have the right to. I don't know his name, and I don't want to bother learning his name. So that's why I'm going to refer to him as such. And going back to what you were saying about him paying in that way, that's fine. No one's telling him to pay rent. But you being a member of the board, you know the rules. Then would it be okay for everyone else to break the rules? Then why have rules at all? You need to set the example, and you're not following a basic rule. It's not a big deal. One basic tiny rule, and you can't follow that. So then everyone can just start bringing guests over, and anyone can use the pool.
How is he not a member of our household, though? That's what I want to know. He's been here for 2 years, and suddenly you have this issue?
It's always been an issue. It just never
This
changed.
is the first I'm hearing of it.
I would talk to your little friend here, the manager, and she never did anything. So
I
then
don't
finally,
understand what my relationship with Joan has to do with anything. When your neighbors have guests swimming unaccompanied, I don't see you writing me nasty letters to them. I'm the only one, and it's because I have a Croatian boy living with us.
For the other guests, for the most part, they're always with them, like I said before. And her, I think because she thinks that he's older, and he doesn't need somebody to accompany him, which, yes, if it was a public pool, then fine, but because we already have rules stating that a member needs to be with him. I don't understand where the gray area is. A member needs to be with you when you're in the pool. There's not a member with him. She's breaking a rule. Fine her.
I don't understand how he's not a member of our household, though.
He doesn't have a membership. Buy him a membership.
But he's not a homeowner. He would not be able to. There's no lease or tenant agreement at all. I don't.
Add him to yours. Figure it out. But if just follow the rules. It's simple. I don't understand what the big deal is.
What I'm seeing here is that she feels that she is following the rules because she feels that he is a member of the household. I think that's what we're one thing that maybe a little unsure of here. And you're saying that he's not a member of the household, and that she is to follow the rules because he is a guest, since he isn't. What do you feel constitutes him as a guest? I should ask.
Because she said he's here because he's studying. It's not like he's staying for long term. Once he's done his studies, 2-4 years, he's out of here. He's a guest.
What would do you consider it long term?
I mean,
What
it's
would you consider?
been 2 years. I mean, when my daughter was here, when she was going to school, when she was over the age of 18, nobody had to go down there with the pool with her. She was considered a member of the household. So how is this any different than when my daughter lived with us when she was going to college?
Because she was already a member of your household. She moved out. This guy's coming in as a guest.
2 years ago. I mean, he is a member of our household. He's a part of our family.
Is there anything? I should ask what, if any, rule is there in the HOA agreement that constitutes a guest? Like any
I
specific
don't know
time?
if she can touch on it. I haven't read anything that.
I mean, the only thing I would be in our lease, but that would just like an overnight guest. But I mean,
So I
I would
guess.
think
So I would
guest
see what I guess.
parking. He doesn't use guest parking. He has parking permit from the association department.
So basically, he uses all the amenities of what
What
a member holds.
Yes.
Basically. Okay.
At least at other places I've lived in, if someone's spending the night more than 5 nights a week or 5 nights in a month, they have to be added to the lease.
And is there a rule in the HOA agreement that says that they have to be added to this?
No, but it's been 2 years. Like she said,
So-
if he's a member, then why isn't he on the lease?
He doesn't have any income, any money. I mean, like, why would he put his name on this piece of property when he has school to pay for and things like that that would mess with his documentation for school? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, I think what we're looking at is a missing piece of that HOA agreement. I think has to do with the homeowners association in general. If we're looking at maybe adding exactly what constitutes a guest and getting a vote on that in terms of all the people on board, that might be one way to look at it. But let's look at exactly, let's just keep looking at this because I think this is important because there's still a disconnect here. Do you have anything you want to add to that before I continue?
Excuse me, I'm just refraining and trying to reflect on what it is you guys just spoke about. So he's been here for 2 years, of course, from what you said, Ms. Milankovic. I don't want to push you or tell you what to do. But in concerns to the 2-year term, have you heard of any, student verification where they might be slightly exempted? Also, to you, the same question, if the student could be exempted from, certain criteria the HOA has put into just because, he has to pay tuition and all those other amenities for school. Is there any way that may have brought up?
No, because he's a guest. I don't know why she's trying to make this Croatian kid part of her household. He's a guest.
He hasn't.
He's a guest.
I also have to wonder what the fact that he is Croatian has to do with the rules. But I do want to know how long have you been living in
10 years.
About 15.
So what I want to look at again is the idea of what constitutes a guest. I think, again, that is where the tension is.
Well, I feel like if I had a European kid living here, going to school, that we wouldn't be having this issue at all. I feel that she cares too much that he's Croatian. That if he was from somewhere, say like England, but she wouldn't care as much. That because he's been here for this long and nobody said anything, that she can just say whatever she wants.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna say it. I don't like the kid.
He's a good kid. He has straight A's. He's like, I don't understand. He's a part of some really good honor society. Like,
No
So
one's
why
gonna
do
change
you
my
use a
mind.
tool?
No one's gonna change my mind. I'm not gonna change your mind who you like. You're not gonna change my mind who I don't like. I don't like him. That aside, you're not following the rules.
where in the rules does it say that he's not a member of our household? He's been here for 2 years.
He's not. He doesn't. He's not
Why?
under your
Because he's-
membership.
Why? Because he's different from us?
That has nothing to do with it. I told you that he's the way he is. I don't like him. That aside, he's not under the membership. It's clear. I don't understand why we're going back and forth. It's clear. He's not in the membership. You need to be with him when he's at the pool.
He's 18 years old. He doesn't need me to hold his hand to the
I'm not
pool.
telling you that he's going to drown and that he needs a floaty every time he's in the pool. I'm telling you, the rules clearly state if he's not a membership, it's like being a membership in a gym. You can't just walk in without paying.
Our membership that we pay for covers everyone in the household. He is a part of our household.
He's not. He's a guest.
But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is I think that in the HOA agreement there is a huge flaw in what constitutes a guest, and it doesn't say. There's something that says, a guest is somebody that stays 20 days or 2 years, and that's between both of you and the whole homeowners association. And so there's
Well, I think that if it was between me and the homeowners association, that would make more sense. I don't understand what she has to do with any of this. She just doesn't want to see that Croatian kid using the pool from her yard. If the homeowners association has a problem with it, I need a document from the board, not from some angry racist neighbor.
Could we please refrain? Just refrain from both of you. Just the tone of voice and certain words used to each other. We're in a respected mediation. Please keep it within those limits. Moving forward just a little bit, of course, I want to say thank you again for sharing your stories and sharing your concerns and needs. As we can see through our discussion, what you shared as of now, and what he's been saying is, you both are not the problem. The dispute is the problem. The HOA rules, stuff like that is the problem. What has this conflict, done to the both of you, overall within your own lives?
It just makes me worried that we're just not going to follow rules anymore. And what is this world going to come to if we're not following rules?
I'm just really, I guess, defensive against my, with my family. I feel like we're gonna have to defend, our student living with us against, the ugliness of some of the world.
what do you feel would happen if he was allowed to swim?
He would be allowed to swim in the pool. He would be allowed to swim in the pool if he had a membership. No one's telling this kid not to use the pool. The only reason I'm telling him he can't use the pool is because she's not with him. It's clearly stated. I don't understand. She's like, he's a guest, he's not a guest. I don't care if he's your guest or he's not a guest. I'm telling you, he's not a guest. Well, I just contradicted myself. I'm telling you that he's not a guest, and she needs to either buy him a membership or go with the kid, or send your husband with the kid.
Well, I think this is an issue with the board and the manager. I think this is mostly with the board, though, that everyone has to get together and make a vote on this, because there is nothing in that states otherwise. So what?
Yeah, not that we've seen. I don't think, like she said, she doesn't know what constitutes a guest, and I don't know either.
I think we're all in confusion here because there's nothing that constitutes a guest, and so I think that really needs to be resolved within the whole owners association. And the fact, that they sent you here to mediation, and I kind of wish we could have got some more of the board members here. I think that this is really something for mediation of the whole board, considering that the rule itself, while it says that there is a need for guests not to be allowed to swim without supervision of the homeowner, or somebody in the household that's over 12, right?
Yeah, we're in the 7th grade.
Or the 7th grade. It just seems like it's something that really needs to be looked at in terms of who's a guest. Is your version of a guest to somebody, you say because it's temporary that essentially he's a guest, but you're saying because he's been a part of the household that he is not a guest because he's been there for 2 years, and that guests tend to be overnight, that he doesn't use any of the amenities such as the guest parking. He would use guest parking that the guests use. He uses normal parking. And that would raise the question, nothing's been enforced on the parking issue, so there has to be something, a vote on something in order to understand that what exactly is a guest. Should I have
Ms. Milankovich, you say that not necessarily Ms. Hanson, but maybe management is always ignoring you personally.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by always ignoring?
Like I call her to let her know, look, this kid is doing it again, and you're not doing anything about it, and she just won't pick up my phone calls, and she won't write back to my emails when I send them to her. And
Maybe she's just confused about the HOA agreement, though.
well, but she's never made it known to me. We could have been doing that and sat down and
Communication
discussed
is
that.
Communication definitely is an issue, and I think that's what we need to talk about it here, civilized. I'm going to say that race, we need to keep race out of it. The fact that he's Croatian shouldn't matter. I think it's just a matter of looking at exactly what what the board discusses in terms of what is a guest.
Well, then let's talk to the board.
I think that's going to be necessary. How do you feel about that?
I
Talking
think-
to the board.
Yeah, I think that would definitely clarify some things. Maybe even take Mrs. Milkovich out of the situation because sometimes I just feel like we're being really hostile to each other. And maybe if we went through the board, that it could be almost like a mediation again, where they could let us both know what constitutes as a guest without having for us to discuss it.
Yeah, go back and forth with each other.
The board sent you guys here. I think the whole board should have been here. That would have been a lot easier for all of us because it would help us understand exactly what these do. We could have made a vote on that here and got an understanding, but I don't. It's not possible, obviously, right now. Maybe sometime again in the future, we could mediate a whole board meeting to help essentially come up with a solution to, what constitutes a guest. Anything like that?
Just probably maybe one of my last two questions after you answer this one. This is an open question for both of you. We did already slightly get to it. I guess given your understanding of what we talked about today, of the conflict, what desire would you both might have, to let it be, I guess, your next step moving forward on actually, I guess, not necessarily getting to agreement, but getting close to something you both can be happy with.
I just want clear. Follow the rules. They're there. Follow them. If he's in your thing, once we find out what a guest is, and if he's not, buy a membership and let that kid swim. Whatever. I don't care. But follow the rules.
Well, do you feel like you are following?
Yeah, there's no clear definition, so of course he can use the facilities because he's not a guest. He's part of the household, so I don't know, I just want the board to clarify on this because it is an issue and it will continue to be an issue even with other potential guests of other homeowners. This is something we should clarify is what constitutes as a guest or when a guest becomes a member of the household if they have to pay any fines or.
Do you see another one?
So maybe, actually, I think that kind of answers my most last concern, actually. So our next step, from what I heard, is maybe set up another mediation. I don't know if you guys want to do it one-on-one with your board members, or maybe you guys both go to the board members and talk in each other, and then you guys move from there. And if there's other needs or concerns that come up within that thing, you guys can contact us again, and we'll go forth and move on from there.
I think a big part of this will be getting also the manager involved in the understanding of what needs in terms of what does the manager feel like. I believe that because she can't enforce anything that's not clear, that I think it's something that definitely needs to be looked into by the whole board and by everyone on it, because in order to end the issues with understanding where we are, because it's, the biggest part of this is confusion is what constitutes a guest.
Right.
So that was what we need to look at. Is there anything you two wanted to add into this that you feel is relevant to? What do you feel is relevant to this? If any.
I've said what I need to say. I would like to see what the definition is, and then we move forward.
I'd like to spend as less time as I can with Ms. Malkovich and ideas. So if we can meet with the board separately, I think that would be in our best interest. And then the board deciding if we should meet together again. But I don't really want to be in the same room with her again.
You're feeling that it's been intrusive in your life?
Yeah, I think it definitely puts a dark spot on our household. Our student feels like he's not welcome, and he is. So it's been 2 years. So he shouldn't have to feel that way. So I think it's very disheartening that someone in the homeowners association could make me feel that way.
I think we are, it was a good mediation, it's pretty constructive. So I believe, like you said, contact HOA board, and whoever else is involved, maybe bring in a coaching student if possible, and see what he thinks or how he feels about the situation. I think that can open up more eyes on the case. Ms. Milan, thank you for your concerns and all that. Also, you, Ms. Hanson, please, when you do talk to the board, of course, bring up what you brought in here so they can have a perspective.
If we ever need to mediate this, the board in general, this would be that, because I think that would be an important step towards an understanding of everyone's needs in the community. It's a very, it's a gray area. Hopefully, maybe bring the community closer together as well. So let's go ahead and agree that we're going to set up a board meeting and speak to the board members. I think that would be a good start, right?
If need be, you guys can come back.
Yes.
So we can send that out. So thank you again for coming, and hopefully you guys can enjoy your day.
Thank you for having me. Oh, do we? We could gas on
Dude, that was really good.
That was good.
I think that was good.
I
You
felt
know
like
why,
Debrief.
though?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because you saw it in class.
Yeah, I think it's because we did.
Because he would be like, nope, keep going, nope, keep going.
Yeah,
we
And
did,
so then
we did
felt
good.
the
I
same.
just feel like as a mediator, I didn't really do that well. I feel like
I thought you did
well, I
well.
think the issue I missed, I got your
Did you
needs.
lose it?
I got
Okay, oh my god.
But it has to be an hour with the debrief.
oh.
So we're good.
So we're like past.
Oh,
We're good.
That's
sorry.
I was keeping track of time as well, so that way we weren't
Yeah, I
too
kept
much
looking. It was
over.
just like-
I didn't want to go too far over because I know we don't have this group for long. But
Oh, we haven't talked about 30.
oh.
Yeah, I got it.
I was thinking 5. Sorry. No. My issue is like I was able to find like a need for your party. I was like, okay, she wants to be listened to. As much as like I was able to think about what you needed,
I don't know what
I
I needed.
couldn't
I think
figure you out.
I needed like I don't know, I guess the kid to want to be welcome.
Well, I'm a racist.
Yeah, dude, like
Well, because the Croatians, I'm a Jew, I guess, and something about World War II and blah blah
See,
blah.
I'm
That
not
was my
too-
backstory.
I'm not too up on that.
do the
see.
backstory first.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That it said like you're racist and you hate that kid because he's Croatian. Blah blah blah.
See, I had
So
no idea.
That's why I kept saying that kid.
Yeah, that I picked
I
up.
see. I picked up on that too, and that's why I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, you know.
I think what he
But
did
I'm
was
not-
really good this time. You should have like real notes, like.
I actually did my research a little more, just because the professor.
You did a really good job this time.
I was having a hard time, I guess. Like he said, just reflect if you need be. So,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you helped keep
So
it flowing, so I think
Yeah.
that's the thing.
since that day,
Yeah.
This is only one round, and I'm already exhausted.
I'm
yeah,
tired.
it's-
Yeah.
I'm like, I
wow.
need
I
coffee.
can't even believe how they did it for like 3 hours straight and
Seriously.
just one.
Well, the thing is, I think the one thing is real emotion.
Yeah,
That's
and
the thing
like
that makes this a whole lot
real,
difference.
like,
I can
yeah.
once people go on their real emotions and they know it's like this little script here just doesn't really help us understand the real emotion in the back. And now that I understand her backstory a little bit, maybe I can say, okay,
Yeah.
it's alright.
I felt like there was some holes in mine. It didn't say that I trained the manager at all in my story.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I was just like, what? And then how do you get the manager there? I was like, don't they nominate for that?
Oh, that we made up.
Yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because I was just like, oh, and
Yeah,
that's-
'cause I didn't read any of that, and I was like, okay. And then we didn't talk about my daughter very much.
That's why at one point I was
Oh,
like,
it
I
just
wanted to
says you and your
separate
daughter.
you two.
That's all it tells me.
I wanted to separate you two at one point because I was just like, I want to get a little bit more idea about this.
Literally, that's all I got.
Confused. I was
Oh, okay.
really confused at one point. I was like, whoa.
My thing was like number 1, like don't think you're above the rules. Number 2, follow the rules. Number 3, buy him a membership if you
Yeah.
feel like that's needed. So, but I really am happy with what we did today. I really wish that we would have, because I think the other ones that were like fun, not fun, but the funnier ones, like the pervert one, we could have done that forever.
Yeah, if we would have been able to push along with that, oh
Yeah.
my god. That would
It's
have
like
been
now we know.
Yeah.
It sucks that this is the final and we're really good
Yeah.
now. But I had fun. We could have kept going.
It was good.
Yeah.
I really hated you. For
Yeah,
a
you were
second.
a tough one. Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say here because I'm not really good at combating racism on that level. Like, especially not
I'm
knowing the
racist.
background.
It
Yeah.
says it.
I wasn't sure. I knew it was racism. I just wasn't sure the background of it. So if I don't know the background of it, I'm just like,
That's why I finally had to give up and be like, yeah, I hate him. But I wasn't gonna come out and say because he's
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't about to go. What's your ethnicity? No.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be really awkward. I think just be really.
because he's Croatian. What the hell's Croatian?
Croatia.
Um,
Wow, I should know this. This is depressing. I feel like I've gone through how many years of college
is
now?
it Russian
I'm
or?
thinking
It's
weird.
Is it Eastern? I know
I
it's
think it's
Croatia.
like a,
but-
no.
Oh my phone.
No, I think it's some like Russian, Czech, or something. in
It's
that area.
from Croatia.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah,
Country of
there
Europe.
was a time where I
Near
wasn't too
Siberia.
sure.
Yeah,
And
Croatia,
also-
Eastern Europe, right?
Probably.
Italy,
Yeah.
Croatia,
Oh,
Serbia.
excuse me.
There was a time during the mediation where I was like, I don't know if Karina, even this mom, was really, I guess, attacking you.
Sometimes-
Just because she raised her tone of voice, but she wasn't really, I guess, verbally saying,
I had no problem with you.
This-
Just follow
this-
the rules. I don't want that stupid little Croatian kid
Yeah,
on the floor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's
That's
what
what
it
it was. That's
Yeah.
that's
when
what
you
it
said
said.
stupid, when you said stupid, I was like, alright, that's more like
Yeah.
attacking. But there were times where you just.
But I think I felt like we allowed them to talk to each other too early. It didn't go as naturally as I wanted it to. But it's really hard to do that again without real emotion. I was like, where do I go?
Yeah.
I didn't, and I just feel like we can't relate to
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah, I couldn't
I don't give a
couldn't
shit
relate
who's
you to.
swimming
I don't
where.
have 2 kids in
Yeah.
college or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. But I'm really happy with this last one.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So,
Now we got
Yeah,
one more round.
we got nothing.